Welcome to the Ultimate Coding Championship by Headstorm, where top engineers compete head-to-head to solve some of the world's most significant challenges. Our contestants will be tasked with a problem to solve and have 3 hours to design, implement, and present their solution.
This is your 1 hour warning. You have 60 minutes to complete your build.
They'll be judged by a panel of expert technologists on the creativity and quality of their solution. The stakes are high, with the winner walking away with a $5,000 cash prize and title of Ultimate Coding Champion.
Yes!
The winner of the Ultimate Coding Championship is... Are you ready? Let's go. Hey everyone.
Welcome.
A little nervous, I won't lie. At the end of the day, I'll just be glad if I get something working.
Contestants, welcome to the Ultimate Coding Championship Coding Arena. How are we feeling?
Excited.
I'm excited. It's like a good kind of nervousness, and I'm excited for it.
Today's competition is focused on agriculture. The agriculture industry, which is crucial for feeding millions, faces challenges in optimizing crop health and yield. Growing demand coupled with legacy technologies strains growers' resources, impacting their livelihoods as well as the broader ag sector. This can have even further reaching consequences noticeable in the economy and global population. Here is your challenge. A wheat farmer in Nebraska has experienced greater than normal rainfall this year, and she'd like to adjust her watering plan to compensate appropriately. She'd also like to know if the forecasted weather for the next week puts any of her crops at risk of other adverse conditions. The grower would like the above recommendations to be delivered in plain speech, but is also appreciative of simple visualizations or tables that help to make the recommendations clear. Your task is to design a solution leveraging generative AI to help our wheat farmer optimize her watering plan. You'll be provided with the following inputs: table formatted data in a text file, soil moisture readings, appropriate soil moisture ranges for wheat, additional disease and condition data, along with a weather API key and an OpenAI API key. Not only will you have to design an excellent model, but you'll also have to impress our panel of judges. Joe Vaughn is the CTO at MoneyGram International, Carissa DeSantis is the CTO at Brix Holdings, and Eric Poon is a technology strategist at a Fortune 500 company. Our judges will score you on a scale from 1 to 10 in each category, and whoever has the highest average score wins the $5,000 cash prize and title of Ultimate Coding Champion. Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm just ready to get in there and get that $5 grand.
The time begins now. Judges, how are we feeling?
Feeling great.
Yeah.
I think, obviously we're in the restaurant industry and do a lot of that stuff. So it's kind of like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? So it all starts somewhere, right? And we're all kind of interconnected. And so in a way, there's value that this competition can provide to our business one day, by simple coding challenge. So excited.
I think what we've all learned in our industry, there's never one way to approach a problem. And I'm excited to see what they come up with, because it's probably like a brand new approach that we may have never thought of.
And it's real world, right? Yeah. So it's not something made up or contrived. Like it may be a real idea that germinates out of here that creates a great product.
Yeah, definitely glad we're on this side of the table. It's a lot of pressure for these guys.
Don't want to jump in there and get coding yourself?
Hi, my name is Dylan Kay. I'm a senior machine learning engineer at JSX. When I was younger, I wasn't too athletic, didn't really have a chance to win many trophies. Only trophy I've won before was a chess trophy. So it would mean a lot to win something related to the field I'm actually working in. That would be awesome. I used to be able to multiply 2 8-digit numbers in my head together. I'm actually still pretty good at it, but.
So we can quiz you right now?
Yeah, if you give me a 3-digit number, I could probably square it in my head right now.
763.
582169.
582169.
Let's go! I grew up in a recruiting family, and so, tried recruiting, then thought I wanted to be an actuary. Studied and passed the first actuary exam. Then I realized, I don't really want to work for an insurance company, but man, do I really like probability and statistics. And that was what drew me into data science, and I haven't looked back since. think what I'm gonna do with the 5K is, I think there's the Choctaw Nation Indian tribe about an hour, 20 minutes north of here. I really think they could use the $5,000 a whole lot more than I could. Is that a good answer?
My name is Pratishtha Shrestha. I'm a senior developer from Dallas, Texas. As a senior developer, I don't have to get stuck in one problem for the rest of my life. New things come up every single time. There are new problems to solve, new techs to use to solve the problem, so it keeps things interesting. In the tech sector, I find myself being the only female in the room a lot of times, so it was not something new. But given the 3-to-3 ratio for judges and the contestant, I think we matched the ratio, so I'm good with that. I feel like I'm giving an interview, like an actual job interview. If I won today, I'd always introduce myself as the ultimate coding champion. I don't think anything else would have to go on my resume except that title. But that belt, I'm more excited about that than the cash prize. I think I'll travel, buy something cute for my puppy, Leo. Excited. I don't think 3 hours will be enough, but let's see what happens.
My name is Sean Popal. I'm a senior software engineer at Common Objects, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. I am a very competitive person. I think anytime I'm thrown in an arena where there's a challenge like here or on the court or just any kind of aspect of my life, I love competing and learning more and picking my competitors' brains. So I think that's one key feature about me. What inspired my career in technology, I think, was my passion during my childhood, tinkering with things, breaking things down, fixing them up, seeing what made them tick. I really wanted to get an understanding of what all these kind of magical boxes around my house did when I was younger, and I think that slowly led me into messing with computers and then studying computer engineering and learning about computer science and electrical engineering, and then eventually manifested into where I am now as a software engineer. I think what excited me most about competing in the coding championship was just being able to push myself and try something new. It was something that was kind of completely out of left field for me with large language models and something that I've never worked with before. I think most software engineers typically always start with a cup of coffee. It's a lot of head scratching and wondering why things are going a certain way that it is, but it's there's beauty in the madness too. So it's a good combination of things during a typical day. I think I'll treat my family a little bit, get a nice little family dinner for sure.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great.
Yeah, excited?
Oh yeah. When they came over to check, I was like, all right, I gotta do something cool now they're watching.
So how are you approaching this test today, the challenge?
Yeah, so I already kind of threw a basic, throwing a basic interface over here together, but I'm mostly focusing on the actual, machine learning aspect of it. Plan going in was to get sort of a backup plan within the first hour and then to improve on it. But when I actually got started, I actually did it in reverse. And I was like, you know what, I'm here to win this. And so right when I got there, the very first thing I did was I built a machine learning model on the weather versus the soil moisture based on the data that was given. Didn't even really start on the ChatGPT type of stuff until probably the 30-minute mark. Kind of took a risk there, and I hope it pays off.
What challenge do you think you have to overcome?
And one challenge will be the 3-hour time frame, but outside of that, it's really my first time using the OpenAI API, so I would say that'll probably be the biggest challenge to overcome, is just using a new technology.
All right.
So do you have it envisioned what your end product's going to kind of present like, or is it going to kind of come to you as you're going through?
As far as how it'll look visually, I'm trying to design it so it looks very similar to what someone would see on their phone. I love being under pressure, so that to me actually motivated me more. So if anything, it was a motivator for me.
All right, that's great. I
Good
look forward
luck.
to seeing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right, how we doing?
Oh, okay, doing good.
So far, so good?
So far, so good, yes.
Very cool.
The judges coming to interrupt us.
That's right. Tell us how you're approaching the problem.
I'm thinking more from the end product perspective. Given the time frame we have, I'm not going to focus a lot into what model I'm going to build. I'll use what's already out there. So I'm thinking more end product for this. I was just getting started with the code, understanding what the data looks like, understanding the problem. So when they asked me the question, I think it helped me visualize what I'm trying to do too, because I was able to communicate my vision to them, like this is how I'm going to start and this is what my end product looks like.
Are you kind of tracking with what you planned mentally, or did you have to pivot based on what was challenged?
Because we have soil moisture here, and I'm not really very familiar with how the weather affects it. So I also need to understand the problem statement itself. So I'm looking at what does the data look like, and then the next part was what the question requires, and then formulating my strategy about how do I build a system that answers question based on what's being asked.
What do you think is missing from the model, or factors that might affect the accuracy of your model?
You have soil moisture reading, but the weather data does not give you soil moisture.
Right.
So is it precipitation that I need to look at? Is it the min-max temperature? What column or what data within the weather should I be looking at? I got that email at 11 a.m. on Friday that I'm taking part in UCC tomorrow. I was kind of excited because, I actually get to participate, but I was also nervous.
Pratista joining in at the last second was just legendary.
Taking the competition literally the night before, extremely impressive.
Should I wake up all night and prepare for the competition, or should I rest up and give my best the very next day? So I'd say it was a mix of emotions.
Weather is not set in stone, right? So your 10-day forecast might be completely different. So you got to think about the probability of percentages that can impact if it's going to rain and if it will or not.
Yeah.
So definitely think about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Good luck.
Thank you.
Excited to see what you do.
How you doing?
Hey there.
Good.
So tell us, how are you approaching the problem?
Yeah, so first gonna try to categorize like what the question is the user is asking. I'm not gonna kind of just specify just for the one question, just like it might have a variety. It might be like, okay, what's the weather in the next 2 weeks and how does that affect my cost? Get the different pieces of information that it needs and then to come up with a more holistic answer. My strategy going into the competition, given the limited time frame, I think was try to produce something that solves the problem first off, and then also has the roadmap to expand in the future. Try to design something professional enough where other engineers could work on it, or there's room for expansion. It's not just kind of a boxed-in product, as well as delivering on the requirements that the competition asks for.
So you're thinking a lot about the modeling and the data. What do you think the user experience is going to be that you're going to produce?
I feel like it has to be kind of fun a little bit, right? I think adding like a little bit of flavor into the conversation will help make the user experience better, and just for like the average everyday person to like want to use it on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think that's key. The end user experience has to be enjoyable, or they're not going to use the technology.
It was interesting. I think anytime someone checks in during your work in the very middle of it is a little chaotic, but after I kind of showed them what I was working on and illustrated my thought process a little bit to them and hearing their reaction, I felt a lot more confident. It was good. It was good to get a little check-in during the competition and kind of just do a little vibe check and see how I was feeling.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Excited. So what do you think? Do you think that they're feeling the pressure?
Oh yeah, I think so. You can
I
see
know
it in
some
some
sweating a
body
little bit,
language.
yeah, exactly.
And occasionally you see one of them stand up and rub their hands and watch the screen.
That's right.
I mean, 3 hours, it is not a lot of time to get this done.
It's easy to plan, it's easy to decide, this is what I can do at this point in time, but I feel like that is one of the things that came up as I started speaking to the different contestants is, well, they kind of had to prioritize one aspect or another. Was it the model? Was it the interface? Was it the interactability of making it more human?
They were trying to make their app more human.
Oh yes, giving that generative AI a little flair to it to get that real human-like speech.
And those little decisions will make a difference. I assume on who we pick as the winner. Right?
Yeah.
Those will be the differentiators.
Definitely.
Attention contestants.
All right, y'all, this is your 1 hour warning. You have 60 minutes to complete your build.
I didn't think I would be nervous. I had no reason to be nervous, but the time crunch is kind of settling in, and there's not a lot of time to incorporate anything new. I just reminded myself that your solution is good, your roadmap is good, everything is going fine. Just keep going.
I don't even remember, to be honest. It's like I was not even paying attention to everybody. I was just trying to get my solution to work.
Yeah, so I was kind of already pretty much done by the 2-hour mark. And I kind of just spent that last hour just making sure that it was gonna work during the demo. I was concocting my idea to actually have a judge come up and test this live, trying to put myself in the mind of a judge and what they could type in. And so that was what I kind of spent the last hour on. You know, I probably could have presented at the 2-hour mark.
You could have presented the 2-hour mark?
Yeah.
Seeing Dylan kind of walk around and pacing, it was interesting. It's like either something is going incredibly well or incredibly wrong. I'm not going to worry about what my contestants are doing or feeling. They might be doing great, they might be doing poorly. It doesn't matter. I need to focus on what I'm doing and make sure that whatever I can produce is the best that I can do.
I thought that he was already done and he was just relaxing behind the scenes, like, oh, I don't need to focus or I don't need to crunch my time to finish this. I've already done everything, so I'm just going to hang back. And I think at that point he even offered to, hey, if you need any help, let me know. So that was like, are you done with your problem already?
It wasn't nervousness or anything like that. I think I was just genuinely just pacing around. As far as my face being red, I don't really remember that. I would assume it's from having too much caffeine.
How are you?
Doing good. Just putting up the finishing touches and kind of cleaning up the edges, I think. Trying to make it a little bit more polished.
Very nice. So polishing, it sounds like you're almost finished.
I wouldn't say that. Anything could happen, but we'll see.
Did you have time to add on additional features?
Yeah, I'm going to explain my presentation, kind of the approach that I took, and I think that'll kind of help explain why, like, the features that I decided to implement and like how I went about going through the data, and then what that could potentially lead to moving forward in the future. Like in the example, once it's deployed, having additional features, or I would say there's feedback from the farmer and whatnot, like adding more stuff to it and being able to make it more diversified in the future too.
Very good.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Coming down to the wire, are you feeling good about it?
Oh yeah, so I can put in my zip code and.
Are you feeling the time crunch yet?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit, but I got my machine learning model fully trained, integrated. So now it's just kind of figuring out like, all right, what's the best way to ask it stuff.
Very
So
nice.
sometimes it doesn't quite understand what I'm trying to ask. So yeah, I think I got everything good. It's just a matter of working on the presentation aspect now.
Very nice. So that's the last challenge you're trying to overcome.
Yeah.
Is how to present it.
Exactly, just knowing what to type and how much of potentially some other creative presentation ideas. Yeah, I'm confident that it will give a reasonable answer given a reasonable phrasing of the question. Yeah.
And you've added comments to all your code, right?
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I had more than enough time for that.
All right, down to the wire. Tell us, how's it going?
It's going good. I actually have something working now. It's a little slow, but answers are looking good. I'm also worried a little about hallucinations. Because it might just make up data on its own and not just look at my database. But given the hour, I don't think I'll be able to work onto those issues because they are such a huge issue in the Gen AI space. But presentation-wise, I think I'm looking good.
All right.
What's the largest challenge you've run into so far?
The data, actually. For me, it was mostly understanding soil moisture and weather data relation. I still am not able to figure it out, but I'm letting the Gen AI portion handle it on its own because it's intelligent enough to do that.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Literally the exact same thing. There's been a couple of times where I ask it the same thing. One time, perfectly fine. One time, just like, I don't know what you just asked
So
for.
I'm like, oh man, if I give a live demo, like, is it if it's right 4 to 5 times? Am I gonna gamble that?
All right.
I was like, wow, okay, this guy, very smart. I'm kind of scared. What about you? Going good?
Huh?
Going good for you?
I think so. I executed the way I wanted it to do it. I don't know if it's the most like efficient or ideal way, but the way I structured it, I executed it the way I wanted it to, so we'll see.
Nice, nice. Good luck.
Thank you too. How's yours going?
Slow.
It's still taking a while for the answers?
Yeah. Also, I'm not pretty sure what I'm doing with the whole soil moisture and weather data, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't seem relevant in this problem. But.
All right, everybody, just letting you know, we have 30 minutes remaining. We're getting down to the wire. You guys see anything in the contestants right now? Anything?
I think they look like they're pretty much getting ready to finish up.
Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah.
I'd say lots of focus.
Not as,
Cold as a cucumber?
yeah.
A lot calmer than they seemed maybe 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
There seemed to be a little tension and hand wringing standing up as they were figuring out the path forward.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'll be interested to see if they stuck with their plan or if they had to change mid-course on anything.
It's always scary when you can't really see the end in sight. When it gets down to the wire, I guess there's also a little bit of satisfaction that you're almost ready to deliver. So,
Yeah.
contestants,
This is your 10-minute mark. You have 10 minutes to finish. Good luck.
It started to creep in that, oh, it's time to actually present your solution. I was not satisfied with the response time of my problem. I knew it gives the right answer, but it's taking too long to answer. The next 10 minutes is going to determine maybe if I'll actually end up winning the competition.
Yeah, it's starting to look like on me. Maybe it's best if I just say, yes, do my Rocky, yes.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
contestants, please take your hands from your keyboards, stand up, step back from your tables. Time is up.
This room is super cold. How do I just realize it now? I've been in here for 3 hours.
Yeah, no, it felt great. I'm super happy with the product, and hope the judges will be also. ChatGPT has a mind of its own, so we'll see. I'm at the mercy of their API a little bit at this point.
Well, definitely more time, right? So I don't think it's my best work. It's a little slow right now, but I'm just glad that there is something that I can show.
I left it all on the court. I feel good about my solution. I think I got the results I was looking for, and I feel good about it.
We'll finish setting up and we'll let you know when it's time to go. Excited to see what y'all came up with. All right?
Welcome, Dylan. What can you tell us about your creation?
To start out, I'm gonna just give a quick demonstration of how it's working, and I'm gonna demo it. But the real test is I'm gonna be inviting one of you to come up here and demo it live.
Okay.
Love the
So we'll
confidence.
see how it goes.
Yeah.
I coded this using OpenAI's function calling. I trained a machine learning model on the soil moisture data. So it can accept any zip code, any date in the future, and it will automatically call my machine learning model, and it will automatically feed those results back in behind the scenes. So I can put in any zip code, and if let's say I were to forget zip code, I can show that after. It would respond back and say, hey, could you tell me your zip code? It actually understands the conversation history. And so I can say, given this information, can you create a world? And it'll understand the history that it just responded with that, and it'll know, those values refer to those values. Averaging about, 5 to 10 seconds per submit, but it's kind of random. There we go. So it gives a plan per day. January 20th, it's acceptable level, no watering what we needed. Right here, January 22nd, soil moisture is very high, would suggest either a heavy rainfall or data anomaly. No watering needed, check for potential waterlogging or flooding issues. So I also have it uploaded with the full disease file that was sent. So it has full access to that knowledge base. So when I ask this, it will automatically look through that database of diseases. You know, I want to have someone that's never used it to come up here and test it. How do they know it actually does what I claim it does unless I actually have one of these judges come up and actually use it live? I know there's a huge chance it can backfire on me and it could totally break because I don't know what they're going to type in. But, you know, it was a risk I felt like I had to take.
Okay, we'll take a shot.
Are you predicting the past?
I think I only have it set up to look at the future.
You'd have to use a future date, wouldn't you?
Future? Wow, you told me to try to break it.
You did. So I think that it actually totally backfired having the judges come up. Per the question, I had it set up to only check the weather API for future dates. So there's a big error message that popped on the screen, right? You know, first thing they tried.
Well, call back here.
Yeah, sorry, let me just, I think I have to refresh the page. The next thing he tried was a date about 8 months in the future. You know, I don't even think they have a weather forecast that far in the future. So basically got back-to-back error messages on the first two.
Okay, so probably asking questions that are a bit unfair given the scope of the...
No, I mean, I wanted a user to come break it. That definitely backfired on me, I think.
So you can actually ask it questions about the weather then. You could say, what percentage of rain in the next 2 weeks do I need to worry about, or something like that?
Should.
Nice.
Oh, very nice.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, so that's basically the core functionality. If I were to have to say a weakness of mine, maybe it could be presenting.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dylan.
But I felt I did good enough to win, but I was a little worried about that aspect.
Hello.
Hey.
So when I first stepped in front of the judges, it was actually pretty calmer than I thought it would be. We set expectations to them during our earlier conversation about my end product, and I felt that I met that, so I was ready to show them what I've built.
Welcome, Pratista. Tell us a little bit about what you did.
This is my app. It's called GrowWise, so that farmers can use it to grow their crops wisely. Right now it can answer data related to their plants, the weather, and the diseases they have. I'm presenting it to the people who are going to invest in the product. So my idea was I'm not going to dive deep into what technologies I use, but how the users will be able to benefit from it. So let me start off with what are the diseases that affect wheat? It could have been that I thought my contestants' solutions were better, so I was just going to market this as a good product. It's a little slow now. I think I focused a lot on the data layer and then did not focus more on the hops that it actually takes to give you the output, so please bear with me. I did also use another tool that actually shows what happens behind the process for developer experience, so that even if it's running right now here, I can see through that screen what's exactly happening behind the scene. Is it taking the actual route it's supposed to? But that's not visible to the user for now. So taking a little longer than it took while I was running it. So.
I do like that you do have a progress bar, so
Yes.
folks that don't know what's going on can see that it's doing something.
So when it took a long time to show up, I was like, I knew it was slow, but I did not know it was this slow. So what it does is it will give you out one input. Like, it hasn't given out the output yet, but you can still see what happened behind the scenes.
Okay.
Like, did it actually get the data it's supposed to from the database, from what's stored, or is it randomly generating something? The response after that was pretty quick, I would say. So you can see that it actually got output that we had that was provided to us. For the weather data, I used both the live API as well as the data provided to us. So I'll do this week. Because the zip code provided to us was a single zip code through Nebraska,
Right.
so it just looks for that particular location because this farmer is only concerned with that location. Partly cloudy, cloud cover 54%, humidity, atmospheric pressure, and visibility. Like, it already got the output, but it's still thinking, is there any other way I could get more information? Are there any other tools I should be looking for? This is its functionality for now. If you ask for specific things, it will look for that information outside of the database itself. If I ask, what should I do if it's partly cloudy?
but that's not part of the database. It's just answering on its own through the pre-trained models. I did not really use the 3 hours provided me to train any models. I didn't think that was sufficient time, or even we were only provided with 60 rows of data. I didn't think that would be sufficient to properly train model and judge how it works. So I focused mostly on designing the UI and preparing the database layer.
Why do you think your model took a longer time to work through the prompt on your very first questions versus the subsequent ones?
Not sure, because it was started from the very beginning. It does not preload any tools that I've in here. It didn't even show the process. Maybe it just start a boot up time for it because it was idle for so long.
Did what you have as your output match what you thought you were going to have as your output?
It does, yes.
Yeah.
If you had another hour or 2 hours, what additional features or capabilities?
We were given disease data, but the disease data did not have how does temperature or weather affect it. I did find a good website from the government that gave you exactly what the diseases are, what the conditions are, how to treat them. I think I would spend that time either scraping the data and adding to the database, or just providing the website as a knowledge base for my model.
I was like, okay, I don't even care about who wins. I'm done. 24 hours, I'm proud of what I've built. It might not be the best solution. It might not have been my best work, but given the hours that I had, I think I did pretty well.
Thank you very much. Of course.
Thank you.
That's good.
So my strategy with presenting to the judges was illustrating my design philosophy and why I thought going about the way I did was correct.
How you doing, Sean?
Doing good, excited.
Well, what do you got for us?
So when I first kind of read the prompt, the initial question was basically just asking kind of like a future prediction, right? So that's kind of how I went about it initially, but then I kind of thought a little bit more broadly about like what's some other things that she might be wanting, or like curiosities, and given the data that we've received, like what can we do to kind of be a little bit more holistic in our approach. I wasn't really sure about how technical I should get with the judges, but I feel like given the panel and how talented they are and where they come from and their backgrounds, I was able to kind of explain how I would want to explain it. Initially set up a couple different bots to kind of roll through the different scenarios of things that she might ask. So the first one, conveniently named, is Concierge Bot. It'll basically direct the conversation to the proper place and kind of answer the questions accordingly. So at least for the first initial prompt, we were given, will the weather forecast for the next period of time affect the crops? So let's just go ahead and run that. Will the forecast? Conveniently, Agbot will respond to you in like a cute manner, tell you what it's doing, and then provide you some insights about what it found with the data that it gathered. So it'll go through initially and grab the weather data, then run its analysis on the weather data in conjunction with the data that was provided, and then give you some insights about what happened. After the first couple talking points that I mentioned to them, I kind of settled in a little bit and feel like more confident throughout my presentation. But also given some of the data, and like she was curious about the current state of her crops, for example. So what if she notices that, okay, her crops for whatever reason are water soaked? Maybe she would want to know, like, okay, we have a list of diseases. She doesn't want to read through 2,000 different diseases and find all the characteristics and whatnot, so I can just ask Agbot, my crops are water soaked. And then Agbot will recognize that that's like a bad symptom for your crops, so it'll go through and quickly find what diseases match those characteristics and those symptoms that you've described, and then give you a list of potential diseases that it might have, and then that way you can kind of drill further and pinpoint the issue, that way we can get it treated. The way that I designed this was in the approach of being able to extend functionality in different ways. Say in the future someone else is working on this code, or there's a new plugin that I want to utilize, we can easily manipulate the code to be able to handle that kind of situation. That was my main point of contention, being able to not just produce something that just works in the moment, but something that, like, if we were in a more professional environment and I produced that piece of code, it would be easily adaptable to the existing systems or integrated into new systems.
For accommodating future data sets, can it go like search out different weather data, different agricultural databases? Like,
at least the way that I designed the code, I made it so like future developers can kind of easily understand what's going on. The initial bot that's reading the conversation grabs the context of the conversations. In my case, like I asked it about weather and then crop health. So it knows those are the two subject matters of what my conversation is about. Okay, navigate to in the section of the code where that is being processed and handled by its respective bots. I think they're good. I was a little bit nervous during the presentation just because there's a lot of anticipation leading up to the final product. But I think overall my solution performed well. I think the judges liked it, and I was happy with the result that I produced. Any further questions?
Thank you.
Thank you so
very
much
for your time.
Thank you for your time.
So judges, what are we thinking about Batista?
I think that she did a really great job kind of branding her app that she built. She definitely, I think, more so than the other two, at least took a small amount of time to kind of go through and create a little bit of that UX. Obviously, within 3 hours, there's not a lot you can do. So I definitely thought that was a nice touch to add to what she did there.
The UI was pretty intuitive, where after you gave the prompt, it would show the processing and then the answer afterwards.
The struggle here is each of them had their own strengths, and her strength was clearly in thinking about the UI and what the product would feel like and how it would touch it, and even branding it girl-wide.
I think that her application did take significantly longer to process the responses than the other two.
I would definitely agree with that. Like, it required specific prompts for her to get the right output.
The other concern I would have is I'm not sure she met
the predictive
piece,
yeah.
Right, to predict the watering plan. I don't work
in the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
So moving on, judges, how are we feeling about Dylan?
I thought his presentation was probably the best out of the three.
I agree. The UI was very intuitive. It was very clean, and even when it was giving an error, it still prompted you for more information. So it was an error message without giving an error message.
I thought his demo was great, confident, right? Good explanations about why he built it, how he built it.
He invited you up to go try to break his app.
Yes.
Good job, you broke it a little.
Go bold or go home, right?
I liked how it could accept both a city name and a zip code, that it wasn't limited to a specific data set.
Yes.
And I did like how he had, the next question you asked, you could even be more general because it knew to look back on the prior question
Kept the context.
to predict what it needed.
Finally, how do we feel about Sean's presentation?
That was the fastest app I saw out of the three of them. Like, it was able to return the results pretty much instantaneously.
It was fast.
Yes, it was very fast given the amount of time he had to build it. I also thought he did a very nice job presenting.
He did.
He talked through, the problem as he understood it, the things that he was going to solve for, and then additionally added in a couple other features. So definitely impressed with the outputs there. I think his interface wasn't as...
The UI was not the cleanest compared to the other two.
That can always be done later.
I really like the fact that he structured it in a way that it was easily extendable.
Yes.
Right. He described, hey, I have a concierge bot. Concierge bot holds context. Right. I have ag bot that can answer this question. I have water plan bot that answers that question.
And he also went above and beyond the prompts. Like, he went future expandability of the app. He went, this is how I've built it already into it.
Yeah, it creates a great product vision, right? If you're thinking about, hey, I'm the CEO or I'm an investor and I want to invest in this product.
This is going to be a tough decision, y'all.
Let's hear it for contestants.
Welcome back, everybody. Now is your opportunity to get some feedback from the judges.
First of all, thank you all three for doing what you did. You delivered some great results today. Dylan, I'd like to share some feedback with you. We thought you had a great, simple UI and user experience. We loved your presentation, your confidence behind your solution and your design. You delivered a watering plan. We were hoping to see that, so well done there. Some other feedback I would share with you, though, is what was unclear is what your future vision was for your product. What did the brand look like? Where was it going? And the last thing is we know that some of your results could have been delivered a little faster, could have been a little more performant, but overall, great showing. Well done. Thank you.
I was starting to feel, slightly nervous and kind of a little bit upset with myself. Like, why didn't you work a little bit harder? Why didn't you overdrive?
Batista, we thought that you had put together a very thoughtful product with your focus and branding. You were hands down the only one that came up with a logo for your vision and your brand, so we definitely loved that. Like I said, good presentation. Just as you were going through the demonstration, it was just kind of evident that some of the functionality of your solution just wasn't as comparable to the other two. A couple of the detractors, the length of time for the output to respond back, which you acknowledged, so it wasn't like you were trying to hide it or skid it past. And then just some of the predictive modeling, for what is we need to do, to accomplish our moisture content or watering and things there. But very impressed with the level of effort that you put in with, being thrown into the challenge last minute. So nice job.
I hadn't seen my other contestants' presentation, but we had talked about how it went, how the presentation went, how the product that was built looked like. So I did not have much hope that I would be winning, but I was just glad that I was able to participate.
Sean, great presentation. We liked how quick and responsive your application was. We thought that the fact that you went above and beyond the prompts and you built future functionality into your application, that was very impressive and very forward-thinking. We did think that the UI could have improved a bit a little bit much. It wasn't as user-friendly as a grower might be who's not in tech. But other than that, great job.
Thank you. I was excited. The highlights that they made about my solution I thought were great, with some drawbacks a little bit here and there with the UI and whatnot. I felt like it was almost like a coin flip, or it was kind of leaning towards me a little bit.
All right, with that, judges, have you come to a decision?
It was a very close decision, but we were able to have a unanimous answer.
Thank you very much. Without further ado, the winner of the Ultimate Coding Championship is Dylan.
Thank you. Thanks, appreciate it. It was surreal. It was such a great feeling. If you could bottle that feeling up and sell it, you'd be the richest man in the world. It's a moment I'll never forget.
All right, there you go.
Obviously, I think I was a little bit disappointed. I felt confident that I had a pretty good shot at winning. Obviously, I think Dylan's was just a hair a little bit better, so it was disappointing, but I was up there swinging, so that's all I can do. Just leave it on the court and try better next time.
I thought Sean would be the winner.
It feels amazing. The first thing I've ever really won in my life, so it's pretty awesome. I never really taught myself programming into a fluent level until I was about 24 years old, after I graduated college. I was obviously an economics major, and so what I would say to people is what you really have is the tens of thousands of hours you put in to get to the point where you could actually compete in something like this, and the journey, and that's really what you have. It's not just about the winning and the final moment, it's about the whole path to get there. That's what really makes it special, and those are the moments that are really precious.